let's talk about what we're going to do today. So if you see in the description, it says Rhinestone Designs, okay? So I have heard you guys. I know you guys love when I do rhinestone stuff because either you haven't done rhinestones before and you need that little encouragement or see it to be confident in it, or you love rhinestones and you want everything to be in rhinestones. So what we are doing today is both. I'm only doing 2 projects because you guys know I typically try to do at least 3. However, they are very big rhinestone projects, so I'll probably go all over an hour anyway just doing that, because I'm going to show you different things you can do with rhinestones that are great for this time of year. Now, for those of you with kids, you will realize it is pretty much back to school time, okay? School is right around the corner. Everyone's getting their emails for the back to school deals, all of that. So we know for what we do, preparing our items for back to school and football season, that right now is the time to start preparing. Right now is the time to start advertising. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a bag that is good for back to school. This is going to be great for dancers. One thing, I was going to do this on a backpack, but I was careless and I did not measure, and my design was too big, so we're going to do it on a tote bag, which is totally fine. And then we're also going to be doing a jersey. So let me show you the things. So here's my jersey. Pretty excited about this. Now this jersey is from Sanmar. It is the Sanmar brand, so it's Sport Tech. I like this one. You guys know, if you been watching my lives for a while, I did one, I don't know, close to a year ago now, and I did one of the Badger jerseys. It was fine. It's good. I like this one because it doesn't look as much like a unrealistic fit, if you know what I mean, for those of you who buy ladies blanks. It looks like normal people could fit into it, and the little jersey holes are a little bit smaller, which I like that a lot, okay? So we're going to go over this, and then we are going to be making the tote bag. So you guys know I love this tote bag. These are the ones that we have here. It's nice and big. If you've been buying tote bags from us for a while, you'll notice that this one's a little bit bigger. I love it. I love it so much, and the design will fit on there. So this is going to have a 2-color, but also 2 stone-sized design. So we are going to do this so I can show you how to do different sizes, but also just different things going on. I'm also doing a different type of rhinestone as well. So super excited about all of that. So those are the 2 things that we're going to do. So I have my templates here. Now this template here has my dancers. Okay, this is going to go on the bag. Now don't forget, I do giveaways. Today I'm going to do some giveaways. So I am going to be giving away my jersey, my bag, and this template. So if you want to win it, make sure you like, comment, and share as I'm going on, because that's how you're entered to win, all right? So we're going to check that out. And so I'm going to start off with the template for my bag, okay? So this is going to be 2 sizes of 1 color, and then my 2nd color. Now what I'm doing different for this one is I am actually going to be using some AB stones. A lot of you guys know that, like, sometimes I like AB stones, sometimes I don't. Like, I like it when I'm going to go outside, but it's not always my favorite. But I really, really love these stones, this color that I have here, and I think it's going to look good on the bag. So for those of you who don't remember the way we set up our templates, they have 1 for each size or color. So this is 1 color. These 2 are going to be the same color, but they're different sizes. And hey, Bino, do you have the link to it ready? Like, okay, so this design, we're going to put the link in a comment. Now keep in mind, you're going to get a coupon code. So this design, we're going to set this up for 80% off. You're going to use the code that we put in there. And then after the fact, for the live, I think we'll have, I think we can probably edit the description and put in the description too. Does that sound good? Okay, so we're going to do that. So do not look for this yet, okay? I'm going to give you a coupon code. I want you to see it and then kind of go from there, all right? So here are the 2. I'm going to jump over to my close-up camera so you can see what these look like, and I'm going to kind of get started. So here are my 2 templates I'm going to work with here. So I have this sitting, it's already weeded, and I have it sitting on my Hot Fix transfer tape. This is my acrylic tape. Just put on the paper backing. So these holes are smaller. These are my SS6 stones. So I'm going to peel this up, and we're going to brush in this size first, make it a little bit easier to work with. So what I'm doing is I'm going to set this up a little bit closer to the edge of my workstation, and the reason being is I need to layer colors and sizes. I could not figure out that last word. Colors and sizes, so I need to use this space as a hinge. So we're going to go over, and I'm going to grab my crystal stones. So how do the stones hold up on jerseys? So I have not had too many issues with jerseys. The good and bad thing about the jerseys is that they're seasonal, so you're not going to wear them all year long. So I've only washed mine a few times, but I haven't had any issues. So we're going to go through here. And I'm just brushing them in. I'm doing gentle circles. Now, one complaint in general about SS6 rhinestones is that they're harder to brush in. Now, I won't lie, they're not the easiest to brush in, but the trick with rhinestones, and you want to really apply this for your SS6 stones, is that you want to use a lot more because they use each other to fall into place. Now, if you look, I'm going to hold up my brush. I have a ton. I'm trying to focus it for you. I have a ton that are in my brush right now. So I just need to kind of like tap it when I'm done. And we're going to go over, we're going to use our brush, gently brush them over, and kind of go from there. So let's go right here. Let's kind of brush these to the side. And I'm just going to kind of use my brush, go flat, and get these out of here. So I have a couple missing, not a big deal. I'm going to go back and kind of correct that. All right, and I'm looking up at the comments as I go. I might miss a couple, but let me go through. What is the difference between low lead stones and machine cut? So the difference between them is really the process with how they're made. So our Korean low lead stones basically is our typical rhinestone. So they're made in like a mold. Now the machine cut stones are really nice. They are, like, for lack of a better word, like, not to be obvious, they're cut on a machine. So with that, with the machine cut stones, they have more facets to them, so they reflect more light. So that's great for things that are accent pieces or things that are outside, but keep in note, it is a higher cost. So the Korean stones are pretty great. Now, I have a couple that are missing. I could do another pile, or I'm going to use my, I think Matt was using this in his live last night too, my little crystal katana pickup tool. So I'm just going to kind of use this and drop my last stones in place, because honestly, I don't have the time or patience to use my little piles to bring them over, okay? And I think I saw Linda say something about if you use a separate brush and trim the hair shorter, then the SS6 will brush in better. Yeah, that's a really good tip for you guys if you're going to use 6 stones. For me, I don't use them all that much, so I just kind of like, I don't know, factor in the extra, I don't know, effort of getting the stones off the brush. But yeah, if you're going to use 6s a lot, then that is definitely something to do, because what's happening is the hairs are like, you know, decently long, and so your 6 stones are going to get caught in there. So you can definitely trim it, and that eliminates that problem. We also have like these other brushes that I like to use sometimes. We have like a Rhinestone brush on our website, which is almost like more spongy. Sometimes I like to do my SS6s with those as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and this isn't really necessary, but I'm going to clean up my 6s before I put my tape down. I like to clean up my sizes and colors in between, just because I'm messy, okay? I can mix them up. Now, if I mix up my SS6 stones, it's not a big deal, because I can kind of use like a little strainer or something to separate the sizes. But no one like really likes doing that, so I'm just going to be careful, and I'm going to clean them up now. So we're just going to go through here, bring this over, and you guys are familiar with my scoop. I'm just brushing it into my scoop, and then I'm going to put them back in the bag. So just be careful if you have your stones on the template like I do. You don't want to bump your board or drop something on it because they'll fall out. Like, you know, I drop stuff on my board all the time and my stones fall out, and it's so frustrating. So just be careful. Okay, so I saw a couple comments. Can I cut your designs? Use a Cricut cutting machine. Yes, you might have to do a couple changes to the file. If you go to our YouTube channel, I have a video titled How to Simplify Designs to Cut in Cricut Design Space or something along those lines. The problem that you're going to have with Cricut is that the design space will bring in your templates, but they won't come in the proper size, and a lot of times the stones come in as separate objects. So here's my scoop. So that poses an issue because it slows down or doesn't even open at all. It'll just crash. So yes, you can. You'll just have to do like a little update to simplify the design, but super easy, okay? And Pilar in the comments, she actually used the Cricut for a really long time. She's very good at cutting with the Cricut. And then also, guys, I know I haven't mentioned it lately, but don't forget we do have a Facebook group. It's called Crafting with Rhinestones and Vinyl. We have a lot of different members in there, and they've all kind of started with different techniques, or they started somewhere differently. So it's a great place to get other people's insights, their experience, and then, you know, it's cool. You can kind of compare with other people, you know. I like it because what works for some people may not work for everyone, but at least you have like great tips, you know. And I think it's pretty fun. So again, that's Crafting with Rhinestones and Vinyl. It's our Facebook group. It's pretty cool. All right, so I have my hotfix tape. I've cut it longer than my design, you can see. And the reason why is we want to use our tape as a hinge to layer our different colors, all right? Let's go through. Be careful when you peel this backing off. Like, try to keep your tape flat. Sometimes I try to get fancy and I peel it off while I'm holding it up. And sometimes my tape will like get a kink in it, or I've actually kind of like flipped my tape over onto itself and I couldn't separate it, and then I was done. So just be careful with that. All right, so check it out. I have this here. So there's different ways of doing this. I'm going to smooth my tape really close on one side to give it a nice start. And now with something like this, you guys know this, I say it all the time, when you drop your tape, you need to commit. Put it down and don't stop, okay? If you will go through and you touch it slightly and lift it up, you might be touching it with more or less slack than if you put it down, and so it won't line up. So when you do this, I'm going to hold it down, I'm going to roll it, drop it down, and then I'm good from there. Oh my goodness, I could not have put this tape on any more crooked if I tried. Can you see this? But it's okay, because I have plenty of space. It doesn't have to be perfect. See that? It's totally fine, but I did put it on kind of crooked. No one's perfect, right? All right, so I have this set right here, and now I'm going to peel up from this side. I want this tape to stay here. This is what is going to anchor it. Now, if you guys are familiar with registration marks with vinyl, it's like using registration marks. So we're going to keep this down as a hinge and go from there. All right, see how they all lifted up? Excellent. And now we're going to peel this over and just bring it like that, okay? So lots of space over here. And then this is going to be in the same spot, and then we're going to layer our next color, and it's going to be set. So some of you will say, like I've had people tell me, like, Lisa, why do you cut such a big piece of tape? Like, it's gigantic. I know it's a gigantic piece of tape. But I learned the hard way. I would try to save my tape and cut like as close as I can while still having a hinge. And the problem is my tape would, you know, hinge maybe like right here. So when I brushed in my rhinestones, they all kind of like got caught on the tape, and I had to scrape it off after the fact. So I hated it. I didn't want to deal with that anymore. So that's why I cut my tape longer. Okay, how do you store templates when the size of hotfix tape is used is not large enough for all the different color sizes used? Honestly, Sandra, I just cut a bigger piece, and the reason being is hot fix tape is probably going to be your most cost of, like, it's the cheapest item in rhinestone making. It's less than $1 a foot. So for me, like, I would rather eat a little bit higher of a cost to my tape than eat, you know, $4 worth of template material, if that makes sense. Like, if it means I'm going to invest like 50 cents more in the hot fix tape to store my template, then it's better than like my template being stored improperly. Now with this, you can see my original piece of tape was a lot longer. It was like this long. So I stored it like that, but once I cut it down, I have shorter pieces. And when I'm done like with this tape right here, once I peel this tape off, I can store my template on both sides of this paper backing. So it's not a big deal for me if they're not together on one big piece together, as long as my template is stored on some sort of piece of tape to keep it safe. All right, so let's go over here, and I am going to drop my normal crystal. So these were my SS6 crystal stones. These are going to be my SS10 crystal stones. So we're going to dump this all on here. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to switch over and use my monster brush for this because this is kind of like a bigger design. And it's funny, I think I mentioned this last time too. When you start off with your SS6 stones, when you move to your SS10, it's going to feel like you're using gigantic rhinestones. Even though SS10 is your most common size, and that's what you're going to use the majority of the time, like when you start off with such a little stone, you're like, oh man, I have these huge freaking rhinestones right here. So you can see I have them set up, so I'm just going to kind of bring my brush flat, get these extra out of here, kind of go from there. You can see I'm missing one in there, not a big deal. I'm going to come back for it later. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush to get this going too. So this is going to go on a tote bag. I was going to put on a backpack, but it just didn't look right. Honestly, the space wasn't big enough. And in reality, a lot of times the moms are carrying the bags, so might as well put on a tote bag that moms would carry, right? So we're going to go right here. I have a couple like that are just sitting on top, so I'm just brushing in different directions to get it. Not a big deal. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it to you. So I need to put one rhinestone down right here, so I'm just going to use my katana, drop that down, and we're all good. But let me show you something. I have this rhinestone. Let me put another one on my hand so you can see it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it on camera, but every now and then I get just like, I don't know, unhappy rhinestones. So you see the one on the left? It looks kind of foggy. This happens. I mean, I've been using this container for a really long time. It's probably more than 500 gross because I put more in it. And I think this might be the first time I found a rhinestone like this. So just keep an eye. Make sure you're looking at them. If you see one like this, just take it out. Not a big deal. So I'm going to do that and kind of, I dropped it on the floor. Oops. Sorry. Alright, so I have this all set. So now we can take our first one right here. And when you bring your tape down, do you see the tension I'm holding in it? Okay, it's straight across. So with something like this, like, don't tug on it, like, don't try to rip it up, but hold it so there's tension down, so when you drop this, it fits right in place, okay? So let me go right here, and I'm going to use my brush to kind of smooth it. So check this out. So this is one reason that sometimes I like using designs that have SS6 and SS10 rhinestones in there, because you can really get this detail. Let me lift this up real quick, and I'm going to bring it back down, but I want to clean up my rhinestones real quick, okay? So let me go right here and lift this up. So all my rhinestones came up, which is pretty good. So let me clean up these rhinestones, but then I'm going to show you closer how those sixes kind of emphasize the detail in my design. So let's go right here. Let's get this out of here. I'm going to kind of make it as close to a pile as I can. And guys, if you have questions, feel free to ask them. I'm trying to like keep an eye on them. I know I'm missing some of them, but you guys are pretty great. I can see you guys answering for each other. But if you have a question and I don't answer it, you can always ask it in a little bit, and I'll see it then. Okay, there are my 10s. Let's go right here. All right, so let's go through here, and I'm just gonna hold it against the top part, bring my cork out. And I go like this because you don't want rhinestones like caught in the middle. All right, so let's go right here. Let's move this to the side. Figure out how to put a lid on. All right, so let's go right here. And I'm just gonna drop this back down so you can see this, because I have that glare going on. So now you can see, you just have a little bit more detail going on in here. Sorry, I'm trying to, there we go. So you can see, like, especially right here, you can fit the row of 6s as opposed to having that big going. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to lift this back up and let's stack our 3rd template, so our 2nd color. All right. All right, so here is my star to go around. So I'm going to bring this up, stack it on top, and find our corners. Bring this down. So you'll see there's a slight area where I can see the holes on bottom. So that's a problem because basically that means I would have overlapping rhinestones. So I'm just going to kind of readjust it and tug at it. So good. So I cannot see any holes below, so that means I do not have any overlapping rhinestones. So now I'm going to do a color that I have not done in a video yet. So this is going to be hard for you to tell, but this is AB Sapphire stones, okay? So I'm excited about these because they have the AB coating, and it's just like a little something extra. Todd, how high can you stack templates? I would not stack any higher than 3. To be totally honest, I don't even like doing 3, but I know that ooh, my little bag of rhinestones squeaked. I had an issue when I was cutting my template where like I kind of bumped my cameo and my tracking got just a tiny bit off, so my squares weren't lining perfectly, so I didn't want to mess up my star, so I just went ahead and stacked it on top of there. So we're doing AB Sapphire. So I'm taking my monster brush and starting off because it's going to cover a bigger area to start. So I'm just doing gentle circles. I'm not pressing down hard, I'm just barely touching it. We're just going to kind of keep working from there. And we're letting the rhinestones do the work of rolling into place, okay? So I like this AB. The AB stones are Aurora Borealis. They have an iridescent coating on them, which really catches the light and sparkles. I love using AB stones for things that I'm going to take outside. And when I'm doing this on the black tote, I wanted something more vibrant. You know, I wanted, you know, what I was really looking for is I would have liked to have like a bright purple, but you can see we don't have like a bright purple rhinestone. We have our amethyst, light amethyst, which are like, I don't know, muted or a lighter color, but I wanted something that's just really gonna pop. So I thought the AB Sapphire would be really nice. So that's why we're doing this. And I'm just doing my gentle circles and just going through there. All right, so we're gonna just kind of move this to the side, get these ones off the top. So this part's gonna take longer just because we're covering a larger area. So I'm just gonna kind of get these out of the middle. Do you guys know that song is like really popular this summer, that middle? Why don't you just meet me in the middle? You don't know that song? Do you know that song, that middle song? I keep thinking of that because I keep talking about the middle. All right, so we're just getting, I have them like in between. So we're just taking our brush, kind of going from side to side. When you're doing this on your own, you're probably going to be faster, but I'm Chatty Cathy, so I'm going to be talking to you while I'm doing this. So again, I'm looking up, so if you guys have any questions, ask them. I'm just kind of working on this and getting this set for you guys. So you can see I have some that I'm going to correct, but with my little katana tool, it's going to be a lot easier to do. So let's go through here. So I have some that are in the middle here, but because I need to fill in some spots, I'm just going to keep them there and use my katana and move them over, okay? So again, this is my AB Sapphire. It's like, it's just so pretty. You'll see it on the bag. You know, some of the AB colors are not my favorite, to be totally honest. I don't know. I am a straight shooter sometimes. So when something has the coating on it, I love it or hate it. So in this case, I love it. Some of the other colors, I'm like, no, no thank you. You can keep it. But for this one, I think it's super awesome. Okay. So I'm going to grab this one from the middle. Go right here. I'm going to grab that one from the middle. Guys, do you know that song? Do you know what I'm talking about? Hold on, I'm gonna play it for you. Hold on, I'm looking it up on my phone for you. It's really popular. Hold on. Take a seat. Right over there, sat on the stairs, stay. Hold on. I'm losing my mind just a little. So why don't you just meet me in the middle? That's Lisa's song to the Rhinestones, okay? So I'm getting the stones out of the middle. I hope you guys know that song. It's really catchy. All right, so we're just taking these and I'm just placing them. So I'm just grabbing the ones that are in the middle. You guys are gonna have that song stuck in your head all day, I promise you. It's so good. So I guess that's like what they call it, the summer song. So this part right here is my just fixing it. Now again, you guys could just take your brush and brush these out probably, but I don't know, I really like using my katana and I think it's fun. So we're gonna go through there and just kind of move these around. So I'm basically done. I have a couple more that are just stuck in between rhinestones. So I'm just taking this katana to pick them up and put them to the side. All right, so all good. Here's one more, this little guy. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do a quick inspection. I'm gonna do like what Matt does. You can't see me, but I'm putting my head level to make sure there aren't any sitting on top. So we're looking pretty good. And so I'm gonna move these move these to the side so I can flip my tape down. So let's go ahead and do this. Still singing it. All right, so I have one in the middle here. All right, so here's the moment of truth. You guys have tolerated me brushing. We have tolerated, you know, everything, my music. Okay, so again, if you guys forgot, we're gonna hold tension on our tape. We're gonna set this down, and I'm actually, before I put this down, I noticed that some of these stones are gonna be caught under the tape. So I'm going to kind of brush them to the side. If you get these stones on the tape, it's not a big deal. I'll show you how to get it off if that does happen. All right, so let's bring this down. All right, so here is my little design. We're going to set this down here. So I did get like one or two, so I'm just going to kind of poke them out. All right, so you can kind of see it. That song is by like Zedd, Z-E-D-D, and some other people. I don't know. It's just super catchy. All right, so we have our tape down. Let's go ahead, smooth this over. You want to make sure you're really smoothing this down to pick up your rhinestones. The more colors or, templates that you're putting down, sometimes they kind of stick up, and so you really want to make sure you're getting this like second, third layer so that you're picking everything up the first time. Now, if one doesn't come up, it's not a big deal. You can kind of drop it down and pick that up. Not an issue, okay? So let's go right here. I'm gonna peel this up all the way. And I'm gonna put this kind of sideways because I don't want to get my stones on my tape over here. So I'm gonna take my tape, put it back down. Whoop! All right, we're gonna smooth it down. So now that I'm kind of set, I'm gonna cut off this extra space here. So let me grab my scissors. And again, this tape is reusable. As long as it can still pick up the rhinestones, we can still use it. So here is my design. So it's kind of harder to see because of like just how cameras are, but you can kind of tell from the AB, the blue's almost like changing color a little bit. That's the AB coating, all right? So let's go over to the heat press. So we are going to be pressing, my press is set at like 320. Rhinestones are anywhere between, 315, 335. Typically I'll do all 335, but you know what, I'm gonna do 320 today. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing my bag, all right? And the cool thing about the tote bags is this bow right here is removable. So we're gonna go through here, take that off. Now, I did see someone ask about an item number for that design. We are going to post that in the comments and in the description after the live because we actually have a code to get you that design 80% off. So let's see, let's thread. Can I thread it? My press is like just a tiny bit wide. I don't like that, I'm gonna rip it. So we're gonna do a pillow. So the pillow is to raise up this middle area so that we get the best pressure on our rhinestones. So we're gonna set up our bag right here. And I am actually, just to be safe, going to trim my tape a little bit closer. All right, so here is my design. Let's peel this up. All right. Oh yeah, I really picked a good color, guys. I'm so, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty proud of this one. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's get this down. I'm gonna use my cover sheet. So this is going to be for 15 seconds. So let's go ahead and I might have to adjust the pressure. So I'm gonna bring my press down. I didn't burn myself, I just scared myself, by the way. I'm gonna bring my press down. See how it looks? So my stones are a little bit low, so I'm going to kind of sneak my bag up just a little bit more. And basically for pressure, you want the press to fight you. Press is fighting me a little bit too much. So I'm going to kind of keep doing this until I can actually get it to close. Ugh. High pressure. So this is going to be 12 to 15 seconds, so this is set to 12 seconds. So my press is set to 320 degrees. The straps will not scorch for this bag in particular. Now, of course, you want to kind of vary based on the bag that you are using, but for this one in particular, we're pretty good. So I was just about to say, and this did happen, a couple rhinestones are coming up. So we're going to go ahead, bring this back down, and I'm going to grab another pressing pillow and kind of stack it up here because it feels like maybe there's not enough pressure going. So let me grab it right here. I brought a spare just to be safe. So let's go. And I'm going to turn my bag so I don't burn half my hand off. And whoop, I scared myself. I didn't burn myself, guys. Oh, it was getting caught on the inside pocket here. Speaking of burning yourself, do you guys watch that show on Netflix called Nailed It? It's so funny. It's so terrible. So it's like a baking show, but it's like people who are not good at it. And it's like literally like those memes you see on Facebook where like someone tries to frost a cake and they didn't let it cool and it's all melted anymore. It says Nailed It. That's literally the show. And I was watching it the other day, and this girl, I could tell in her like little interview after the fact that like she had this like bandage wrapped around her arm. The Teflon sheet was hot. I didn't burn myself. Wrapped around her arm, and I looked at Nick and I was like, that girl burned herself. And he's like, really, you think so? So we're like watching the show, and she's like putting stuff in the oven, and she has nothing there. And then when she's icing, you can see she has a bandage wrapped around her arm. I was like, homegirl burnt herself on the oven. Like, she totally belongs on this show. But that's not the case, because I still burn myself too. And I would say I'm a pretty good baker. All right, so see how these rhinestones are down? Really, if your rhinestones are coming up, it's just kind of like a pressure issue. I had one little guy come up right here, so I'm going to kind of shift my pillow up just a tiny bit and get a tiny bit more pressure. I'm just going to do a couple more seconds. Oh my gosh, Lori, the guy that didn't read the instructions. Yes, so this is a good example that applies to you guys. Like, read instructions, watch tutorial videos. This guy just decided to put whatever he wanted in the cake, didn't read the instructions, and his stuff was so bad. All right. So, there we go. So, see this right here? My little rhinestone wasn't making it. For something like that, I don't want to keep repressing it with the tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pillows out. Do we have the thermal tape in here? I know we were moving it around for in-house. But basically what I would do is at that point, this rhinestone, if you look at it, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell. The glue on that particular stone was not good. It looked like maybe that one didn't have a whole lot. And you guys, sometimes that happens. Like, sometimes when you get a batch of, 72,000 stones, you may have one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of heat tape and tape it down and press it again. So, what was that? Oh, no, that's totally fine. Here they are. Will you hold it out and I'll cut it? Thank you. Okay, so yes, sometimes you'll have a stone that, like, I don't know, got a little tired and didn't want to have a lot of glue on the back. And that's fine. So we're going to take this, I'm going to put my rhinestone down in here. So we're going to go right here. I'm going to kind of like nudge it around, set this up. And you can also put tape of your stone on your tape before you put it down, but I don't know, I like positioning it and then putting my tape down like this. So we have that all set, and I'm going to bring my pillow up and just press that area one more time. Not a big deal. So with the heat resistant tape, I use the one that we have. It is TOW Magic Heat Tape. And so we have that set right here. And I'm going to go ahead, cover this up one more time and press it. So again, guys, like, I'm not a magician, you know, like, sometimes things like this happen, and this is how you fix it. Like, you guys will ask me all the time, hey, you know, what do I do if blah, blah, blah happens? And I'll tell you, I don't, like, pull it out of my butt. Like, I don't, like, talk in theories. Like, a lot of these things that happen, I know because it's happened to me, okay? So we have that all set. My rhinestones are staying. My unofficial way of testing this, I got this from one of our customers named Rob. He takes scissors and scratches it. They're all set, so pretty good. All right, so here's our bag over here. I'm gonna go to the front camera too. My goodness, I look like mad up here. Look at this mess I already made, Jonathan. Whew. So we have that. Ching, 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 ching. Those are sparkle noises. All right, so you can see we have our AB sapphire. So it really just gives it a little something, you know what I mean? Like, you can see, here's my normal crystal in the middle. And then you can see, and I can see in the monitor here, the ones on the side is like super sparkly. You guys see that? It's like really cute. All right, so this is great for dance moms or dancers or people who like ballerinas. You know, it's like good. So that is our first design. I know you guys were asking what I use this. This is my crystal katana. It is available at Michael's and hopefully soon on our website. I know Matt was talking about just time frame with that. So we have that all set, all right? So I am going to hang this up so you can see it, and we're gonna do our next design. So let me go right here. Oops. Got it. Okay, so we're gonna hang that up and we're gonna work on our jersey. So before I do that, I'm gonna like clean up some of this mess. We're gonna move this to the side. Now don't forget, this is gonna be given away at the end of the live. So make sure you're liking, commenting, all of that fun stuff so you can be entered to win. So let me go right here, and I am going to put my template back together on the back of these. So with your templates, you want to make sure you're storing them on, if you're using the hot fix tape, you're storing them on the like paper part, not the tape part, because if you put it on the tape part, it sticks forever, all right? It's not good, all right? You'll rip your template. So we're gonna take this, drop this on here, and the bag is available on our website, therhinestoneworld.com. They're called tote, like, it's a really inventive name. I think it's like black tote bag or something like that. Do you know what it's called? Blank tote bag. Will you post a link to it? Thank you. So search very hard. It's got a fancy name. It's gonna be really hard to find, but you know, dedication, right guys? Okay, so let's go through and we're gonna work on our next design. So this one's gonna be a jersey number. So let me go over here. Let me move my my microphone a little bit closer. So that's my last color. So let's go ahead and clean up my AB stones before I get going. I'm not gonna use this for my jersey. So we're gonna take this, use my brush, bring these closer. Okay, so we're gonna go through there, and we're gonna kind of just go ahead, bring this over, and use our scoop to clean it up. So again, guys, I hope you guys are learning something. I hope you guys are enjoying. I'm trying to answer questions as I go. As you guys know, I don't like, these aren't pre-recorded. I don't, you know, sugarcoat it or make sure things are working perfectly, because honestly, like, things don't work perfectly. You know, that's just how it is, all right? So there are my rhinestones. We have this set. So someone was asking, how do I get started? So how do I get started is a simple yet complicated question. Now, the things that you need for rhinestones are, you need your template material, which is this right here. It's cut on your vinyl cutter. For me, I cut it on the silhouette. You can also use the bigger cutters. And then you'll need your rhinestones right here. These are hot fix rhinestones. They apply with the heat tape, not with the heat tape, the heat press. And then you need your hot fix transfer tape to pick them up. Now after that, you have different flexibility. Now you can cut with a bigger cutter, you can use your silhouette, you can use different software. For something like that, it's always better to speak with someone and explain what you're trying to do, what you're working with, and then kind of work from there. So if you're starting off with rhinestones, I definitely recommend either joining our Facebook group, Crafting with Rhinestones and Vinyl. Ask in there, kind of get from other people's experience. You can also email or call us. All of you are in different positions, so giving you a straight, this is the best way, you know, sometimes it's not helpful, and I understand that. So I want to give you the best advice possible. Our call center is available for that, so we're, you know, that's going to be your best bet with that as well. So, for example, with me, I have been crafting way longer than I've worked at the Rhinestone World. I actually used to use the Cricut. I had the Cricut Expression, not the cool ones they have now, but the one with the cartridges. So I was familiar with some sort of cutting before I came here. Now, let me explain to you what just happened. So I am using a giant rhinestone font that we came out with, a number font for jerseys. We're going to post a link to that as well, guys. Don't worry about it. But this is set up as the, I think it's the MF version or SF version. I don't know what we put at the end of it now. But this, what I did is I cut out the whole alphabet and I cut the version with these squares around it, okay? This is a 2-color font. So that way I can do whatever numbers I want. This can be like 22, 32, whatever. I just stack the numbers on top, and then here's the outline that's gonna go with it later, all right? So I'm gonna line these up, we're gonna set these up together, and so now we're gonna do our first color. So this is going to be the inside. So for my jersey, I'm gonna do blue on the inside, or cobalt, so these are my cobalt stones, and then a crystal outline, all right? Do they have a PDF? Oh yeah, we do have a PDF. Todd, what is the overall length of that full font when you cut it? Todd, I don't know the overall length. I did not do the whole entire font. I would imagine a lot though. You might be able to find it on the product description though. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. We have different starter kits. I saw someone ask. We have our crafter starter kit, which is going to come with materials. If you're a silhouette user, it also comes with an ebook that goes over everything. The materials, your software, how to cut, how to press. It's an ultimate, like, really beginner starter thing. We also have different starter kits available based on different budgets. You know, you want to check that on the website, or honestly, your best option is to talk to someone here because we can kind of give you some insight with that as well. So check it out. These are my personal stones from my desk. Sometimes I get a little too excited and I have different colors in my scoop still. So you'll see I had an AB crystal in there, so I'm just picking it up and getting that out of here because I do not want an AB crystal stone on there. All right, so we're gonna go right here. Let's keep brushing. And it's gonna be a little bit harder for you to see because the cobalt stones are pretty dark, so like they blend in with my chalkboard. We're gonna kind of go from there. And I always get questions on this too. My chalkboard is from Hobby Lobby. You don't need anything fancy to do your rhinestones. You just need a flat surface. I like the Hobby Lobby chalkboards because they're super cheap. They're like $7. And I like working on a darker surface because it contrasts with your rhinestones, with the exception of these blue stones and black rhinestones. So if you want to work with cobalt stones, you know, some people will actually keep a separate, like a whiteboard, like a dry erase board, to do your dark stones like this. For me, I'm like, meh, I'm gonna roll with it, all right? So Shortcuts Lot 4 software, I haven't used it. I know a lot of people who do use it, and you might be able to find people in our group who have experience with it. I can't speak to it negatively or positively. I know a lot of people use it. However, I do know that a lot of people use it for Cricut, and Cricut does not like when you don't use their stuff. So I know in the past Cricut has like gotten versions of Shortcuts a lot like shut down, like from working on their cutters. So just be wary of that. Like, I don't think they've always been super thrilled that people are using a different software to use their machine. So I mean, take that with what you may. It kind of really just varies based on your needs, guys. Yeah, and there's Pillar. She's used Shortcuts Lot 4. And then, let me see, how big are those numbers? These numbers are really big. These are, Jonathan, do you happen to have that product up on your screen? It's got measurements on the image. Do you see them? 7.7. 7.7 inches tall? Yeah. Okay, and how, well, they all vary based on number. Okay, so this design is 7.7 inches tall. Believe it or not, this is not the biggest numbers we have, too. We've been coming out with a lot of numbers lately, and I know personally from shows that I've been at, people are like, I want rhinestone jerseys, like, I want the biggest, most obnoxious numbers you have, and I'm like, I hear you, girl. Like, I love my big, obnoxious rhinestone designs. I know it'll be no surprise to you guys, but I love being as sparkly as possible, so I hear you. So we have these big numbers going with that. And again, guys, with something like this, you really could just do little piles and brush your stones in. But if I put them in individually, it gives me more time to talk to you guys. So I figured that'd be okay, right? And some people use Inkscape. One of the videos that I have on how to simplify your designs, I talk about Inkscape in it. Inkscape's a free program. I don't necessarily recommend actually doing a whole lot of designing in it, but I like using it if you don't have Corel and the Wizard. It's great to bring in designs to make them easier to work in your Cricut software, or maybe your Scan and Cut software, the Canvas, that sort of thing. And even Silhouette. I've actually used it for Silhouette as well, where Silhouette is awesome, but it does have its limitations as well because it's it's for desktop cutters. So sometimes the files can be a little bit too big. It'll run a kind of slow, so I will bring it into Inkscape, do a combine, which is what I show in that one video, and then open back up in Silhouette, and it's a lot faster. So you can do that, and it's no big deal. So I'm just going to go ahead. I just have a couple more little rhinestones. This bottom part, I probably should just put more stones on and brushed it, but I'm like, I'm committed. I'm going to do it this way, and that's how it is. Now, if you're doing this for your business, you want to just make sure you're perfecting, brushing in your stones on top, making sure they fall into place, because that's really where you're going to have the best success. But hey, Some of you might do this, and that's fine, and that's why I'm doing it like this, because I don't want you to feel like you need to do what's best for you, what helps you learn, and you know, if doing this at first helps you because you're starting off with rhinestones, then do this, okay? The last thing that I want for you guys is to be so frustrated by the process that you don't do it at all, because rhinestones, one, are super fun, they're really great, but also they're great sellers for your business because they have pretty high profit. So let's go right here. Let's bring this down. I'm just going to put it in my scoop. And what I mean by pretty high profit is that, you know, your cost in it is fairly low, but what you can sell it for is really high. And I'll talk about like what I would sell this jersey for when I'm done. So I have this set. I'm just scooping these up. And again, these templates are reusable. And so the great thing about these numbers is that you can cut a whole bunch of them and then just reuse them like puzzle pieces to make as many jerseys as you want. So for football season coming up, this is going to be an awesome option to offer, because how many of you guys are in the South? Like, how many of you guys live in like Friday Night Lights territory? You know, like don't pretend like a lot of these moms, and probably including you, would not like kill for these jerseys, like those little replica jerseys with rhinestone numbers. Come on, guys, let's not act like you guys don't love that. All right, so let's go through here. So now we're ready to put our tape down and do our hinge. So we're gonna go through here. Let's see what I'm happy with. I probably should cut. I thought I had a bigger piece of. Is there any hot fix tape in here? I'm asking you a lot of questions, Jonathan. I'm really sorry. See, all of you guys love your big numbers, your rhinestone designs. That's fine. I can show what it looks like to have too little of a hinge, okay? That's two. All right, so let's talk about when your hinge is not too big, because apparently I did not think this through. All right, so we're going to make sure this lines up. I'm going to put this as close as I can to this side. And I'm going to use this to smooth it down. Now drop it, commit. All right, so here's my first color. I somehow flipped a rhinestone under there. That's weird. That's crazy. So I'm just going to kind of use my katana, nudge it, flip that back over there. Okay. So let's go over here. Let's smooth this down. And guys, look how little this hinge is. So I'm going to show you why you need to do a bigger hinge, okay? So let's go right here. Let's go ahead and smooth this. So you saw a bunch of my stones didn't come up. So we're just going to smooth it a little bit more, make sure it's dropping. So you can see a couple are like misbehaving. That's totally fine. I know Todd said that's about how big my piece was last night. Not fun. Yep. And I'm going to show you guys. It might even like flip over and like not even do a hinge because the hinge is so small. Okay, so my hinge is going to be really tiny. So I don't want to pull too far because I still want this to be attached to my chalkboard. So I'm pulling, and I have like, I don't know, maybe a ½ inch. Maybe a ¼ inch. So just be careful. We have the weight of our rhinestones pulling on this too. So you want to be careful because you don't want it to yank your tape off, okay? All right. So now these boxes line up on each other. So we're going to line up these boxes. So here's the one. And actually, I need to bring that over just a tiny bit. Okay, here's the one. And now let's do our two. So this clear topper is our hot fix tape. It is a acrylic tape that is made to withstand the heat. That is what you pick up and transfer your rhinestones with. And do not use the transfer tape for decal vinyl. It will melt, guys. Don't use that, okay? It is a special tape made for this very purpose, for such a time as this. Miss, you guys are loving the terms that I'm giving for my rhinestones, but seriously, that's what's happening, okay? All right, so let me go get my crystal stones. I just used cobalt. All right, and again, you guys said I need to make mine bigger. don't forget, we do have bigger numbers than this. Check out our YouTube channel. I have some videos that I'm filming now where I'm using even bigger and also some cool rhinestone numbers that have like almost like a stripe in them. They're pretty cool. All right, so let's go right here. I put my stones down. So we're doing gentle circles. And I'm using my little brush now. So you'll notice I like to alternate my brushes based on how big of an area I'm brushing to. Now this sparks the great brush fight of TRW. We are very divided here, okay? Some people love the monster brush, some people hate it. Some people love the red brush, some people hate it. So when I was, you know, for a long time I was red brush only because I felt like I had more control, which in a case like this I totally do. But man, I would refuse to use a monster brush. I would get so unhappy. When I go to trade shows and I couldn't find my red brush, I'd like tear apart the whole booth to look for the red brush, even though we had like 4 monster brushes out. Okay, so I have a couple rhinestones that are sneaking under, but see how I have to be so careful with this tape here? Like I have to be really careful. And so I'm fortunate because this is just the outline, so it's like not too many rhinestones, but if this was like a main part of the design where there are a lot more rhinestones, I would have an even higher likelihood of it coming over and getting on the tape over here. So we're gonna go from the side and go from here. So guys, let me know. Comment in here, are you a monster brush person or are you a red brush person, okay? So Cece's a monster brush for everything. I'm telling you, if I were to do the monster brush for this design, it'd be a hot mess. It would be disaster city. And guys, I already make enough mistakes in Facebook Live. I'm not gonna set myself up for failure. There was one time, speaking of mistakes in Facebook Live, there was a Facebook Live I did earlier this year where I completely forgot to weed out a section of a design, which I think turned out fine because I showed you guys how vinyl remover worked. But I remember I went out to see Nick, my husband, and I was like, oh, did you see? I think we have like a really high number in our live. And I was like, oh, did you see how many people were in the live? And I don't think you guys, you know, you guys don't see it, but whenever I have a Facebook Live, I spend like all morning and sometimes a little bit of the day before getting ready, testing designs. Like, I put a lot of effort into it. It's probably like one of my favorite things I do here. So I worked really hard and I was like excited. And Nick was like, yeah, I saw. He's like, I also saw all those mistakes you made. So, you know, you win some, you lose some, right? So a lot of people are red brush. I didn't expect that. But yes, so for me, I used to be red brush only, but then I was like, well, it does work. Okay, so again, holding tension, bringing this down. So I have stones. Thankfully, I only had 2 stuck under the tape, but I'm telling you, if you do not do a big enough hinge, you're going to be digging out stones like crazy from this. All right? So we're going to smooth this over. I'm going to use my red brush to smooth on top of the crystal. So whenever you're doing 2 or more colors, you're going to get probably your second color. You may have a little bit more issue lifting it up. And that's really just because you already have rhinestones on your tape and it's kind of lifting it already. So sometimes you have to work a little bit harder to get that to stay for your second color. But it came up fine, so we're good there. So let's go ahead and lift our tape up. I'm going to kind of put it sideways like this, and I'm going to smooth my backing on here. Whoa, and we're going to go over to the heat press. So we have this set over here, so let's jump over to the heat press, okay? Yay! I watch a lot of different tutorial videos on YouTube, not just like my industry. So I'm like, in my mind, I keep thinking like, okay, and now we're going to go do this. All right, so here's my jersey. Now this is a Sport Tech. It was ordered from Sanmar, and that's one cool thing that I'm excited about is that this. Can we go to the top front camera real quick? This is a large, and it actually looks like a large, guys. Do you see that? See that? So I'm pretty excited about that. Thank you, Jonathan. And so we're gonna put our press down onto our press. We're going to put our jersey down onto our heat press. Now, the important part with this is we have to use a pressing pillow. Like, you need to put something inside your jersey. Like, non-negotiable, guys. Like, I know that I am loophole queen and I try to get away with as many things as possible. Like, you will not get away with this, okay? Thank you for the, Tasha, thank you. I just picked that stone off. You will not get away with it, all right? So we have this jersey, all right? Jerseys have holes in them, all right? Now, when I was growing up, so I'm an only child and I'm a daddy's girl. My dad loves football. So when I was growing up, we watched football all the time. And so jerseys were like common knowledge. Like, I knew what they were. And I went shopping with my aunt once, and we were shopping for Christmas for my dad. And I wanted to get him a jersey. And she was like, I don't think your dad would appreciate a shirt with holes in it. And I was so little. I was like 9 or 10. And I just went, okay. But yeah, so the point that I'm making is jerseys have holes in them. So when we have something like this, whenever we have thinner shirts, I'm always telling you guys, separate your shirt right away because the glue can go through it and it'll stick your shirt together. If there are holes in it, that problem is even worse, okay? So someone says, why not thread it? Eddie says, why not thread it? So a couple reasons why I am not threading this. First of all, this shirt is not the case, but sometimes you have shirts that don't fit threading. You're either stretching it or whatever. I don't like threading for that purpose because a lot of times I'm pressing smaller shirts, and this press right here is a 16 by 20. So if I'm threading it, I'm stretching my shirt slightly, and that can affect the press. Now, two, if I thread this shirt, because of the holes, the glue is going to go through the holes onto my little foam, the bottom plate, and that might get on the back of the next shirt that I press. Okay, so pillow in this case I think is your safest bet, all right? So let's go thing. Let's go thing. What does that even mean? I am a mess. Okay, so we're going to go over. I'm going to put our numbers down. I'm going off the collar, kind of lining it up. And I don't know if you guys do this. This is not a scientific trick by any stretch of the imagination, but sometimes when I'm trying to see if my numbers are even with the collar and stuff, I kind of like blur my vision and look at it overall and see. Do you guys do that? But I do that, and it helps me a lot. So I don't know if that's a good tip for you, but that's what I like to do. So we're gonna go through. We have our numbers down. Make sure we cover it. I'm gonna jack up my pressure a tiny bit because I am pressure queen, and I want higher pressure. And then we're going to press that. I want more pressure. Hold on. So I'm increasing my pressure because my previous press had 2 pillows in there. So we had to decrease it because there's so much lifting. But because there's just 1 pillow in there, I have to increase my pressure. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I am like having such a hard time with words today, but that's what I do. Okay, so let's go ahead, lift this up, and now we can take off our hot fix tape. Now again, don't forget guys, this hot fix tape is reusable. As long as it picks up rhinestones, you can use it again, so definitely like take advantage of that. So we have that, and I'm going to lift this, and you might even hear it come off the pillow. Did you guys hear that? So keep that in mind. You have a jersey, like it has holes in it, so you want to make sure you put something in between it because you're going to get like, you don't want the glue to go through the back and glue your shirt shut. So like, you can see the backs of the rhinestones on here. Like this is definitely like, you know, not your everyday shirt. You want to be careful with washing this. Like if this is ever a time to be abundantly cautious with your washing instructions, it's with one of these shirts. Tell them to wash gentle, hang dry, like be very, very, very careful, okay? So we have something like this, and so we have this. Let me go to the front camera and show this to you real quick. Woo! So I like doing these jerseys with glitter vinyl and rhinestone outline, but I think it still looks really good. If you're gonna be outside, it sparkles a lot. So let me tell you something real quick. Be careful with your pillow. Why number 12? I don't know. I think, Jerry, I just typed 1, 2 is what I did. I'm not super sure. But when you use this pillow, because we had glue from our rhinestones, I can feel the glue on here. Let me see if I can hold it to the microphone and maybe you can hear my nail hit it. Is it still going? I think I pressed a button. Did I mute it? You can still hear me? Okay. Maybe you'll hear it. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's glue on here. So for your pressing pillow, just make sure you get this glue off of here. It scratches off pretty easily after the fact. Philip and Shirts and Stones will use like a cleaning wipe or something to wipe it off. Just be careful when you're doing this. And this applies for rhinestone shirts in general when you're doing thinner shirts. Feel on your pillow to make sure you don't have that glue on here. And just make sure you're periodically cleaning this off, because you can't get this on other shirts. Like, the adhesive can reheat and get on something else. So just be really careful with that and check it, okay? So there's my pillow. And there is my number, okay? So for this part, I'm going to kind of close, because we put this on YouTube, if you guys don't know. And if you guys don't follow us on YouTube, make sure you find us on YouTube, youtube.com/The Rhinestone World. Click the subscribe button. Now, that's not the end of it. Make sure you press the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications every time we put up a video so you don't miss anything, all right? So we're going to put this on YouTube. So the great thing about watching this live is you're going to be able to ask questions. I'm going to answer them. So if you're watching this on the replay, hopefully we see you on our Facebook page. But for you guys that are here, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in now.